hit start here. Perfect. Okay, guys, so let's get started with our functional training workout. So we're going to start by standing up and do some side-to-side lunges for our dynamic lower body warm-up. So everyone's up. Okay. So side-to-side lunges. So basically half the range of motion. So just kind of halfway down. So you're not doing a full side lunge. So basically this elbow can kind of touch the leg and reach to the floor. So if you want, touch the floor, and that'll show you how low to go. So you don't have to go that low, but you can try. So basically you're just going to kind of go stand in the middle and touch like this. So your base is a little wider than normal. Obviously I'm standing nice and wide. Good. Face forward. Not too fast. Just getting the lower body warmed up. Half range of motion. And then we're going to pause in this position. Pivot to a lunge, kneeling down on the ground, rest your leg on the ground. We're going to do a thoracic stretch. So right hand beside your foot and rotate. So reach the left hand straight up into the sky. And then bring them down and switch. So now your left hand's planted and you rotate the other way. Back down, standing back up, same position, wide stance. Back to our side-to-side lunges. Okay, you're only going down halfway. But you should start to feel the lower body warming up here. 3, 2, 1, and then staying in this position, pivoting the other way. So your right leg is down, okay? Left hand is planted beside the foot. Rotate this way, facing the sky. And then switch, so right hand planted. Back to the middle and relax. Okay, good. So that lower body, get some circulation going, some mobility. All right. Next one. This one's actually a bit of a challenge. I was considering just putting this in the main portion of the workout as opposed to the warm-up. Traditionally, I guess our warm-ups are maybe a little bit less intense, but depending on your level of fitness, this might be a bit more difficult, especially your range of motion and flexibility. It's almost kind of like a yoga style movement. So it's called an inchworm. So for those of you that don't know what that is, I'm going to try to show you here. So you're going to start on your hands and knees and then lift up to your toes, keeping your legs fairly straight. You want to try to walk with your hands backwards to a standing position and then back down to a push-up position and back up. Okay, if you wanted to make it more difficult, you could technically walk up and meet in the middle. So your legs are meeting with the hands as opposed to only using your upper body. But be careful if you don't have the hamstring flexibility because you could strain yourself. All right, so we'll start down here again. I use my hands. We'll go 2 more. Last one. Good, okay. So that can be a bit of a challenge. It'll kind of gauge and alarm you as to how either poor or efficient your flexibility is. while performing some form of strength. So your upper body is holding you up while your hamstrings are getting that kind of stretch. All right. So we'll try that one going forward and try to incorporate that into your workouts. Next one is on the floor. So we're going to do a leg lift to warm up our glutes. So let's start with our left hand planted and our left knee is on the ground. Right hand is on the hip. Keep your right leg extended in line, so not in front and not behind here. But try to have it in line here. And you're just going to kind of lift your leg up and down. And then hold it here, and then kind of go circular motion. Now hold it. Now go forwards and backwards, so kind of forwards and then behind. You should feel a burn here. Okay, switch sides. So right hand is planted on your right knee and left hand on the hip. Start by just going up and down. Just that small range of motion, nothing excessive. Circular. Switch directions. Hold it. Just keep holding it right there. Forwards and then behind. Keeping the leg straight. And done. Okay. So you should be feeling the muscles around the hip. So in particular, the glutes, the glute med and the glute max, really important to activate before you do any lower body movements. So again, that one you could even incorporate in your high intensity portion. Doesn't have to be for your warm up because you should already feel that burning. Okay. All right. So let's stand up. You're going to need a weight for this one. So grab one dumbbell or one hand weight. Okay, so in our first few functional training workouts, we incorporated two separate exercises, the single-legged deadlift, which involved a lot of balance. So it was something like this, okay? And then we added a clean. So you'd press it over your head as you used a dynamic balance, okay? Now we're going to incorporate the one-legged row. So the one-armed row, the back exercise, into the single-legged deadlift. So on the way down, you're going to balance, and that's the hard part, and then you're going to incorporate that row on the down phase. So it'll look like this. And then up, back down, row, and then up, okay? So that's a little hard for me to do and watch the camera at the same time. So we're going to try it on the right side, so everything on the right. So the right hand and the right leg is planted, and your left leg is going to be kicking behind you. Let's try 10 on each side. So let's start with the right. Nice and slow and controlled. Hold, and then return, and then back out. Okay, this is a challenge, so really focus on the balance. Okay, but the row is obviously going to throw you off a bit, so you have to focus on that too. This is what makes it so challenging. Not necessarily the weight. And I think I lost count. Let's say that's 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and return, okay? Other sides, left hand, left foot is planted, and your right leg is kicking behind. Here we go. That's it. Slow and controlled. Really dig that foot into the ground. All the small muscles in your leg are contracting to keep you stabilized. Couple more. We got one more to go. And return. Good. Now you can put that weight down. Okay, so obviously that's a little challenging. I notice myself on the left side is really bad for me. And I can feel the difference of the balance. So incorporating a separate movement to the balance equation obviously makes it more difficult, but it really helps in the end. If you can multitask and do the one-arm row, because what you're doing is when you perform that movement, you're rotating a little bit and it can throw off your equilibrium, your center of gravity. But the core muscles will have to work harder to keep you stabilized and nice and straight. So it's a really good one, really important functional movement. Okay, quick water break. Next one, we're on the floor. Okay, so we're gonna be doing our plank push-up. So you can either do it from your knees or from your toes. Obviously from the knees is a little bit easier, but we're gonna try to do it from our toes. So you're going to be in a plank position on your hands as opposed to your elbows. So we'll start on the hands for the starting position. So you're here, okay, and then you're down to your elbows, and then you're pushing up. All right, if you want to try it from the knees instead, have your legs straight so that from your knee to your hips, they're straight, and you can try to do it from your knees instead. And then you can gradually progress to the toes, all right? So we're gonna do 12, so you have to alternate. So right hand presses up, right hand comes down, and then left. Okay, sometimes it can be a little difficult to remember, especially as it gets more intense. So we'll try our best here. Okay, ready? So 3, 2, 1. Everybody in position on the hands. All right, body is lifted. Here we go, down and push left. Now right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway there. 7. That's 8. Keep pushing. 9. 10. 11. One more. And done. Okay. It's always good, burns the triceps. Okay, everybody up. You are going to need 2 weights for this one. So grab both of your hand weights if you have them. Okay, so now you've done this one before, but it's always important to move in different directions and use different planes of movement. So instead of just up and down or forwards and backwards, you want to make sure you have lateral movement, okay? Really functional, practical to incorporate into your workouts. So we're going to do a lateral lunge with a clean and press. So you're going to basically clean the weights up, I'll show you in a second, and then press as you return. So here's what it'll look like. okay? So when you perform the lateral movement, you're lifting the weights up, elbows tucked in, going down into the lateral lunge, and then as you return back to the other side, you're pressing over your head. So as a reminder, and for your neighbors or whoever's above you, make sure that you have enough space to press over your head. If you don't have enough room to fully extend, just kind of go halfway up and down. All right, so we will do 5 on each side, okay? Because they're a bigger movement, so not as many repetitions. So here we go. We're gonna go to the right first. It could be your left if you're looking at me. Okay, ready? And here we go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Switch sides. 1. Good. Okay. Weights down. Quick water break. And take a quick little breather before we move on to the next one. And you're going to need 1 weight again. Okay, now we just did lateral, and then our final plane of movement is rotational, okay? So you always want to try to include some kind of pivot or rotation, and there's a lot of stabilization and core strength involved in that movement. So these are our kneeling wood chops. Taking 1 weight in a lunge position, try to have 90-degree angles, so you're not like this, 90 degrees. You're gonna twist, but not as far as you can, just kind of like here. So it's for better perspective here. And then you're gonna rotate and back, rotate. So for the tempo, you wanna go slower on the return phase. So on the lowering phase, slow, and then a little quicker on the actual action phase, okay? So we're gonna do 10 each side, and you gotta, really important to remember that tempo. So start slow, and then quicker for the rotate. 3, 2, 1, and 1. 3, 2, 1, and 1. Okay, and you're not using the shoulders, although obviously they're holding the weight. It's really all here. Trunk movements, try to focus on that, okay? Let's do 7 more. One more. Good, switch. Okay, so now left foot in front, 90-degree angle. Ready? So it's quick, and then I'll slow on the way down to control it. Three, 2, 1 more. Slow and finish. Good. Okay, put that weight aside. Next, let's do on your butt. So you're going to sit down. Okay, we're going to do our figure 8 core exercise. So basically keeping your feet together, hands planted on the ground behind you, lifting up. You want to draw a figure 8, so make sure you have room I'm going to move back here to here. Start in one direction and draw that figure 8 with your toes. Switch directions. Okay, drop it down. We're going to wait 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and up again. Ready? Choose a direction. Switch directions. And drop. Good. Okay, so you should feel some engagement in the abs. Obviously, your hip flexors are holding your legs up. So you have to try to angle yourself in the best position where you feel the engagement of the abs. So it's not just your legs doing all the work. So little tips. So it's different for everyone depending on how long your legs are. It could be all the way down like this, or it could be up. But the greater the angle is, or the less the angle, it's going to be more hip flexors doing the work. So try to lean back and then perform the exercise. Okay, that's just a little tip. Should hopefully help you feel a bit of a burn in the abs. Okay, let's just do a couple cool down exercises to make sure we get the flexibility in there. So we'll do a pigeon stretch or a 90-90. So basically, one leg in front on the ground, about 90-degree angle, and your other leg is going to be stretched behind you. So it'll look like this. Okay, and then try to lean back. All right, if you can't get in that position, then you basically just do a 90-90. So both your legs are just in this 90-degree angle. Okay. The objective eventually would be to get in that pigeon stretch. Very good for hip mobility, stretching the glutes. Switch sides. I'm going to try the full one here because I need to work on my flexibility. Okay. You should feel that tension in the hip and the side of the leg working up to the glutes. If it's too much and it's unbearable, then do the 90-90 stretch. You don't want to force it. Okay, and relax. Now we're going to do our kneeling hip flexor quad stretch as usual, which is very important. So you're in that lunge position, right? I like to use my couch here or any piece of furniture for that matter, just for balance. A lot of people, they get distracted by the balance aspect of a stretch. So if you're doing a standing quad stretch, and I see people kind of doing this kind of thing, and because they're having a difficult time maintaining their balance while performing the stretch, but the entire purpose of that stretch is to improve flexibility. So balance should be out of the equation, even though technically for our entire workout there was a form of balance. But for flexibility, always eliminate the balance factor so you can focus on the stretch. So just a hand here to get set up really makes a difference in just having it as a support. Okay, so right leg is in front. So take your left arm now and place it across and then rotate your body. So instead of facing forward, you're twisted. Now hold this. Now come back to the middle. Lift your right foot off the ground. Slide it further forward. You've changed the angle. Left arm straight in front. Now lean forward more so you feel the pull in the front of the other leg. Now you're really getting that stretch. Rotate and hold. Okay, return to normal to release. And then we switch. Okay, so left leg is in front. 90-degree angles. Okay, right arm goes on top and then rotate. Back to the middle. Put the foot further forward and then lean into it more. Rotate and hold. Back to the middle and pull it in, release the stretch. Good. Always very important. Even try to put that in throughout the day. If you're sitting down a lot, your hip flexors stuck in that 90-degree angle when you're sitting, and your hip flexors are really tight. Same with your hamstrings. So a couple times a day, it's okay to kind of do that. All right, last one is your cat-cow stretch. So basically in a 4-point position, hands and knees. Hands are right underneath your shoulders, so they're not over here, they're not back here, underneath your shoulders. Ready? And you're gonna arc the back up. Try to pull in the abdominals, engage those abdominals, and then sink down into this position. Don't sink too far down, just a little bit. And up, arc the back, get those abs engaged, and then release it. Up. And down. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Okay, and then go right into the child's pose. So sitting down on the heels, sliding the arms forward, head down, hold this. And then come back up. Back down again, sitting down on the heels, sliding the arms forward. This time slide backwards. And we'll do 2 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Ready? Again. Good. Okay. And that's it. That's our quick workout for today, functional training workout. So again, always important to focus on that balance and coordination and stabilization. So a couple of those exercises that we did, the one-legged deadlift with the one-arm row, there's a lot going on. So you're not focused on how much weight you're lifting or how fast you're moving, but it's that balance part. Okay. So thanks everyone, as always, and we'll see you next week. Have a good rest of the week.